recording. And then just another housekeeping thing, just some Zoom tips. So please keep yourself on mute unless you are speaking. If you have any questions, we'd like you to put those in the chat. Sandy Crawshaw, one of our instructors, is going to be monitoring the chat. And so she will either answer those questions or she will interrupt if needed, and we will get those questions answered for you. We have quite a bit of information to go over, so some of your questions might get answered later on in the presentation, but just keep those questions in the chat for us. That would be great. And then if you are noticing that your connection is lagging a little bit, just go ahead and turn your video off. Even though we love seeing you guys, there's a lot of people on here. So if things are going a little slow for you, go ahead and turn your video off, and that might improve things for you. All right, so I'm going to hand this over to Josette, and she's going to go ahead and get us started.
Thanks, Renee. Hi, everybody. I'm Josette Beach. I'm the one that's been sending you all of those emails in the last few weeks. I'm the Director of Dental Sciences at Portland Community College. We have dental assisting and dental hygiene, and I'm so happy to welcome you into the dental assisting program as our 2022 cohort. You'll be graduating in 2022. And I can tell you, when I first started my career in dentistry, I started as a PCC student in dental assisting here in our own program that you're now starting in. And I can tell you that the dental assistant, I think the dental assistant is the most important position in a dental office, because you are the one that's going to make that practice be efficient. You're going to be the one that's going to help with all the infection control. You're going to be the expert in that. And the dentist is going to be relying on you as a great dental assistant to keep everything moving, everything functioning, and being really efficient for the practice. So I congratulate you on choosing dental assisting as your career that you want to go into. Every day is a new challenge for you, a new excitement for you, variety. Every day is different from the next day. Every hour is different from the next day. And so we hope that you're really going to enjoy this career. The other great thing about dental assisting is it is a very high demand, in demand career right now. And you can see that dental assistants, according to this latest data that I could find, is expected to grow 7% faster than most other careers in the next 10 years. So this data is from 2019, which, then Corona happened, or COVID happened. And so I would say that you're probably growing more than 7% in the next up to 2029, just because we know how high demand right now there are for dental assistants. I get phone calls every day for, we need a dental assistant, we need a dental assistant. So you're not going to have any trouble getting a position in an office. So let's go on to the next one, Renee. The other thing that I wanted to let you know is when you graduate from PCC's dental assisting program, you will already have your expanded functions dental assistant certificate. We call that the EFTA. And when you go to get hired, your dentist is going to say, do you have your EFTA? Because they really want you to have that. It gives you, you're trained to do more skills than just a general chairside assistant. You're actually going to be doing extra skills in the office. And typically EFTA dental assistants are paid more. And you can see that you can earn about close to 8% more. So because we are an accredited program through the Commission on Dental Accreditation, you will be able to have your EFTA right out of your training when you graduate. Whereas if you didn't go through an accredited program, you'd have to do a lot of extra things in the office to get your EFTA certificate. Okay, let's move on to the next one. This slide is showing you all that that Royal Blue is the top paying states for dental assisting. And so I'm happy to say that Oregon is in the top 5 states for payment for your salary in dental assisting. And Oregon right now, the hourly mean wage is $23.23, which this also, I believe is, yes, this is from May of 2020. Again, I would say that, they haven't updated the statistics yet on this, but I would say that that probably has increased since COVID has hit our horizon. And so I'm hearing assistants come back to say they're earning $25 an hour, $30 an hour. They're getting signing bonuses because they're in such high demand. So that should be encouraging to you, that in 9 short months, you'll be able to go out and make a really nice wage with the training that you have. What is your year going to be like here? Well, you're going to have a lot of fun. You're going to work really, really hard. Our classes for your lecture classes are still going to be what we call remote. So you'll be doing them like in a Zoom class, just like we're doing this meeting, but your labs and your clinic sessions are going to be all in person. And so even though we didn't get a chance to have you all introduce yourself, last time I looked, there was 64 people on this Zoom, and that would probably take up all of our time if we were to introduce ourselves to everyone. We are so looking forward to meeting you when you can get into your lecture classes on Zoom and come in person for your labs. Don't you worry, we're going to get to know each and every one of you, and you're going to get to know each other. It's always so fun to see the growth and the friendships that evolve from the start of the program all the way through the end. You might start out being very, very quiet and not asking any questions. And then by the time the end of the year gets here, we can't get you to stop talking sometimes. So we're anxious to have you get to know each other. But you're going to get to learn how to take x-rays or radiographs, as we call them. And you can see the little man there, Dexter, on the chair. You're going to get to do some fun taking impressions on each other, put a lot of goop in someone's mouth and be able to make a model of their mouth. So lots and lots of fun different things. And I hope you're going to be enjoying all of that. You'll have rotations to OHSU Dental School in your second term, and then you'll do externships for 3 days a week, your last term, into private offices or other organizations. So some fun times ahead for you.
Thank you so much, Josette.
You are welcome.
Well, we'll go ahead and introduce ourselves as the faculty. Josette's the director of the dental programs at PCC. My name is Renee DeMalley, and I am a full-time instructor in the dental assisting program, and I have been full-time since 2018. When you guys get to know me in lecture and lab classes, I'll tell you lots more about myself, but for right now, I'm just excited to see you guys.
And my name is Peggy Llewellyn, and I'm going to be your clinical instructor, mainly for the 3 terms that you're with us. So we're going to be doing some remote class times, and then I'll be helping in the clinic when you're actually learning how to see patients, and then help you with your externship rotations at the end. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting all of you guys as well.
Hi, you guys. My name is Sandy Crawshaw. Can you guys see me by chance?
Nope.
No.
You know what? This is the first time that I use Zoom on my office computer, so I can't figure out how to get that to work, but at least you can hear me. So again, my name is Sandy Crawshaw, and I teach radiology. And so we will be getting to know each other very much and learn how to be taking x-rays, as well as some online lecture classes.
And the other person that you see there in the picture, she's not on the Zoom meeting, but her name is Rochelle Mascarenas. She will be one of our new full-time dental assisting instructors who is going to be starting this August. So she's going to be leading the part-time dental assisting program, but she will also be with you sometimes in some of your labs. So I want to make sure that you were able to put her name and face together when you do have her in some of your labs.
Thank you, Josette. All right, so I'm gonna get us started with a couple of resources. So while you are with us in the dental assisting program, the building that you are gonna be in is called the Vanport Building. Some of you guys may have heard of it, and Josette will give you some more details about that building later in this presentation. But it's not one of the traditional PCC campuses, it's a new building. And so when you are at this building, you have access to PCC resources as well as some PSU resources. So things like admissions and counseling, those are things you will do through PCC. Public safety and parking, you kind of are going to use a little bit of both of those, but since we are downtown on the PSU campus, the links that are provided in this PowerPoint on this slide are going to link you to PSU resources for both parking and public safety. And then the Office for Students with Disabilities, that's going to link you to PCC's website. So these are all some resources that you'll want to check out and get some information on. And if you have any specific questions about any of these resources or things that you might, places that you might need additional resources, please reach out to any of us faculty and we can help you get where you need to go. And we'll give you some more information on some of these things as we move along in this presentation as well. And then I also have a slide here with some scholarship information for you. So these links, when you get this PowerPoint, the one will lead you to the PCC Foundation office, which will give you information on PCC scholarships that are available through the college. And then the American Dental Association Foundation Scholarship, there's a link there as well. So those are some options for you to look at and kind of see what's available as far as scholarships for both the college as well as the dental program as well.
Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about financial aid. And when I say a little bit, I do mean a little bit. So we know how expensive going to college can be. And we know that any way that a student can get help for either through scholarships or financial aid, we want to make sure we point you in the right direction. And so I am not a financial aid advisor, but what I've put on this slide is you'll have a link there for where you can find the PCC financial aid offices. I've also put down their voicemail and when they're there for you to get help. And so if you have financial aid questions, if you need to apply for financial aid and you haven't done it yet, anything about financial aid, I'm going to refer you to the financial aid office. So if you email me and you say, how do I get financial aid? I'm going to refer you to the financial aid office. So please take a look at these slides. Whenever you have questions, there's so much information that we're trying to throw at you right now. We know you're not going to remember even half of it. So you will have these slides to be able to refer to, and we want you to go back to as you have a question to see, you know, if you're able to find the resource that can help you the best. So one of the things that I will be able to help you with is what's called a time frame extension form. So when you apply for financial aid, or if you already have, you may get a reply from them saying you need to submit a time frame extension form. And this is an example of that. And why do you need to submit this? Well, maybe you've already gone to college and you've used your maximum amount of financial aid for when you went to college before. So in order to get more financial aid, you need to submit this extension form. And you also need to submit a paragraph about why you're asking for the time frame extension. So what you'll do is you'll write a paragraph, you know, type it up, and you can send that automatically when they ask for it. Or you can also send it when you send me the form, the time frame extension form. You can either send it to me or Susan Buckley Watson, who is our administrative assistant. So the first thing you do is you're going to get the form and you're going to fill out the top portion. That's all of the information you know about you. So fill the top portion out. Then you're going to type up separately a little paragraph about why you need the time frame extension. Then you're going to send it to me or to Susan, and we're going to fill out the bottom part of the time frame extension form. And then we will send both of those on to financial aid. Okay, so that's the process for getting the time frame extension form completed. That's one of the most common things that I get asked to do as you're first starting the program.
Thank you, Josette. All right, so I'm going to do a quick overview of the program costs for the dental assisting program. And a lot of these are just estimates, but this is just to give you an idea of some of the costs and fees that you'll be needing to pay and think about this year. So the first thing you'll want to know is that you have tuition. So tuition is currently $123 per credit. It's divided over the 3 terms based on the courses that you're required to take for the program. There are also some college fees that are involved. And the numbers that we have listed here are the totals for all 3 terms. So a lot of these are split up based on the specific terms. So fall term, you're taking 15 credits. The lab fee is up to $45 per course, but this total of $240 accounts for the entire year. So just an estimate of these fees for you. Transportation. So there's some different transportation options, and Josette will talk to you a little bit more about this a little later in the presentation. Parking at PCC campuses is usually $50 per term, but we are not a PCC campus. We are downtown at the Vanport building, which is on the PSU campus, which is different. So again, there's different options for you as far as public transportation. There are parking passes that you can get through PSU, but just remember that parking, you can't use a PCC parking pass at the Vanport building downtown. And we can give you more information about that later. We also have a line item here on OHSU parking. So this is, you'll be doing some rotations up at Oregon Health Science University at the dental school, and you do have to either pay for parking or public transportation when you get there. And you can carpool, and we'll give you more information about that, but we just want to make sure that you're accounting for that parking costs or transportation costs in everything that you're doing. There is a list of textbooks that you will be required to purchase for the program. Those end up being approximately $360. And you'll buy most of those fall term, so this coming term. And then you also have what we refer to as the student issue, which is going to include dental materials, instruments, and disposable items that you'll need throughout the program for your lab courses. This is something that's purchased through the PCC bookstore, and it's around $550. And again, you'll buy this for fall term so that you'll start out with all the supplies that you need. You also are going to be required to have a student membership to the American Dental Assistants Association, which is $65. And then I have a second page here. So if you don't already have current CPR training, you will be required to get that. There are lots of online programs that offer it. There is a link here to a website called Danby, and it lists all of their accepted CPR courses. And this is a really good reference for you if you're needing to get CPR training. I would take a look at this link and the listed courses that they have available, because not all CPR courses, especially those that are online, are created equal. And some of them are accepted and some of them are not. So you want to make sure before you pay for anything and take a course that it's actually an accepted course. So you can find these courses for as low as $20. And Josette's going to talk about that a little bit further later on in our presentation. As a dental assistant, you will be getting some certifications and taking some exams. And so there's a list here of all the exams that you will take and different certificates that you'll get. And then there's associated costs with those. And we've also listed those in our program manual. You will be required to have certain vaccinations, which are required of all healthcare employees and students. And based on the vaccination history that you have, it'll determine how many and what the cost is for you. And Josette will give you more information on that as well. You will be required to do a background check and drug screen. Those are through a company called Castle Branch, and Josette will give you that information as well, but that's about $120. You will be required to have a uniform, which consists of scrubs, shoes, socks, name tag, safety glasses, and we have approximated that at about $200, but that's going to depend on where you buy those items. And then there's going to be always some miscellaneous expenses like classroom supplies, binders, highlighters, things like that, as well as a class photo. And that'll be approximately $140. And so our total for the estimated expenses is a little over $8,900. And again, some of these things are variable, but we just want to give you an overview of what you might be looking at for this year. Now, when it comes to your schedule, you are again going to be here for 3 terms. So you'll be here for fall, winter, and spring term. These are the list of classes that you'll be taking each term. So for your first term for fall, you'll be taking 3 lab classes, which are face-to-face courses. Those are the first 3 in that first column. And then you'll be taking 5 remote classes, which will be online, and they will be Zoom-based. So those will be your lecture courses. And then we did want to add a note in here. So typically all courses in the program, the lecture courses, are done in person on campus in a classroom. But we are listing those as remote for this whole coming year, but they might change based on PCC's response to COVID-19. We changed all these courses to remote once PCC decided that everything had to go remote. So based on what PCC decides to do in the future, we may make some adjustments to how these courses are offered, but for right now, these will all be remote as listed here.
Renee, could you just say what remote means?
Yes, so there's a difference between a remote class and an online class. Some people use the terms interchangeably, but a remote class is a course that is typically taught in person that has been converted to an online format. And it means that you still are going to be required to attend an online lecture. So you will have to come at a certain time to the Zoom class, as opposed to an online class where you're not required to come to an online Zoom lecture. So for all of these remote classes, there will be a specific day and time of the week that class is taking place, and you will have to log into Zoom and be present for that class time. So it's similar to being in person in that everybody's attending at the same time, but you're just doing it from your home or your computer as opposed to coming in. So that is a difference between a remote and an online class, is that online classes you can kind of do whenever you want, whereas a remote class, there's still an associated time with it. And we'll give you that schedule as well.
Thank you, Renee.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. All right, and so again, this is listing out your remote lecture courses as well as your in-person labs, and this slide gives you the titles of those courses. And then we just want to make sure you know that all classes and labs are required, and they're required in the term that they're offered. So this fall term, every one of you will be taking every one of these classes.
Thanks, Renee. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about registration. So the way the program works is you saw that there were some lab classes that you'll be taking. You'll be taking a clinical lab class, a radiology lab class, and a dental materials lab class. And we can't have all 45 or 50 of you in one room to do that. So we divide you into 3 groups. And we call them the color groups: the red group, the blue group, and the yellow group. So after today's presentation, and we see who is on the attendance list, because this was a mandatory orientation for your final acceptance. So once we see all of the attendees, then we're going to be dividing you into the 3 color groups. At that point, I'm going to email each of you your own specific courses to register for. And so I should be sending you that list by Monday, the 16th, okay? And so when I send one of you a list, it might look different than when I send a different person a list. And that's because you're going to be signing up according to the color group that you've been assigned to. Okay, so if you're comparing with somebody that you know and they're in a different color group, you're going to get yourselves all confused. So just whoever I send the list to, follow that list for the classes that you're going to register for. Now you are in a closed program, because I know you're probably all anxious to start getting registered for these classes. You're in a closed program, and what that means is nobody else can take your spot. So even if you're not registered today, that's okay. Even if you don't get registered next week, that's going to be okay. You have to be registered though by the deadline for registration. So you want to check on that. But my administrative assistant, after today, she's going to put you in the system as a dental assisting student. And once she does that, then you're going to be able to register. So I've got the link on the slide for where you go to register. And after you get the course registration numbers, the CRNs, you'll register. If you have any trouble at all, if it says anything like you aren't able to register because you have a hold on your account. A hold means there's something that you need to take care of. Or if it gives you any other kind of an error message, what we want you to do is take a screenshot of that error message. And we want you to email it to susan.buckley-watson@pcc.edu. Because if you don't email it to her, she doesn't know what kind of error you're getting. So please communicate with Susan Watson if you're having any trouble registering. And she'll get it all figured out for you. But you do have to register yourself. We don't register you for you. The other thing I want to know is after we're done today with the orientation, I'd like you to email me if there's somebody in the group that you know that you're going to be carpooling with. Because if you're carpooling, then we do want to put you in the same color group so that you always will have access to getting to school together. So please email that to me privately in an email after the orientation, and we'll be able to put you into the same color group.
Thank you, Josette.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Peggy.
All right, I'm going to talk about technical standards. Technical standards are certain activity types that you have to be able to do in order to be able to be successful in the program. And there's a whole bunch of things listed here, such as a certain hearing ability, communication ability, eyesight, being able to stand for long periods of time, lifting, handling stressful situations. I want you guys to go through and really take time to read through this and understand what is technically required of you to be able to be a dental assistant. And then if you have any questions, please reach out to one of us or to Josette, and we'll have you probably sign something later on. We'll talk about that. Some of the things that you'll need to do, that you've recognized and you've read these standards and that you understand them, and we've answered any questions for you. So I just want you to be aware that there are technical standards for the program, and that you need to really read through these and make sure that this is something that you can do. Okay. I also wanted to talk to you about supplies a little bit. You're going to be ordering textbooks from the bookstore, and a lot of things you're going to be ordering online. And so you're going to put some information into the online website about the CRNs for your classes in order to look for the books that you need, and they're probably going to be sent to your home. You're also going to need supplies. Renee mentioned the supply issue and the cost of that, and then some lab manuals for each term. And especially the first term, you're going to need the supply issues and the lab manuals. And of course your textbooks as well. So make sure that you're going online to order these materials, and you'll probably want to wait until after you get your CRNs from Miss Josette to be able to know what courses that the textbooks and lab manuals belong to, if that makes sense. And all of this information will be also provided to you in what we are going to be calling the homeroom. And we're going to go over that in later on in this presentation and talk to you about what the homeroom really is, so that you can maneuver through that a little bit better as well. Okay, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about scrubs. This is a great picture of some past students, and they all had the same color, but for the future, we let you pick your own scrubs. So Renee, go ahead and go to the next slide. The first thing I want you guys to know, though, is there is a lab jacket that is similar. Everybody will have the same color. It's the Eggplant Lab Jacket. It needs to be the ROM Lab Jacket from Scrub Med. The address is provided on the slide for the Scrub Med store. You really need to go in and get sized. I don't want you to order this online. You can pay with credit card or cash at the store. If you let them know you're a PCC dental assisting student in the program, you'll get a 10% off your order. And sometimes they need to order a special size for you. And if you go pick it up, there won't be any shipping costs. But if you have them ship it to you, they're going to charge you for shipping. So make sure you go in to get sized, and then if you can, pick it up to get it back. And it has to be the ROM Lab Jacket, because that's the one that's going to protect you. It's designed to be long sleeves with the cuff, and the way it fits around the neck, it's going to protect you. So that is something that you'll want to have before the program starts. All right, go ahead and go to the next slide. So you get a choice of where you buy your scrub tops and pants. You can either have them be solid or a print top to match a solid pant. So that's kind of a really neat thing. Also, the pants need to be solid to coordinate with your top. We don't want you to have any kind of low rise pant. You're going to be moving around a lot. You're going to be bending, you're going to be sitting, and low rise pants just don't do well. It tends to show a little bit too much on the backside. So make sure you're not buying anything that has low rise. Okay. These are some common favorite brands. Grey's Anatomy, Fig, Scrub Med, Wonder Wink, Jockey, Carhartt. All of these different scrubs types and brands are online, as well as the Scrub Med store. There's a lot of resources, and it's really nice to sometimes try things on in a store, get your size, and then be able to order online after that. But you're going to want several sets of scrubs, because you're going to be in labs 3 days of the week the first term that you're here. And we want to make sure that your scrubs are clean. And so having 3 sets is really good. You also are going to be responsible for purchasing your own eye protection. Your eye protection has to have solid side shields. So if you notice this lady in the picture, the side shields kind of turn and go around the front of the face to the side. And they must fit snug enough that they don't slide down your nose if you're tipping your head down a little bit. So if you need to, you can always get those little attachments that are kind of the cloth that kind of tighten things up in the back. If you find that you have a kind of a small face and you need that, it's always a good thing to have. Also, if you wear your own glasses, and they don't have the side shields, you're still going to need the over glasses protection. And the picture down below is a picture of a gentleman with his own glasses, and then safety glasses and side shields on top of that as well. All right.
Peggy,
Yes.
can I want to ask you a question since we're talking about scrubs. What is recommended for people who do not wear pants but skirts?
That's a good question. I
I
haven't
know.
had that come up before. So I'm gonna have to talk to our director about that, and then get back to that student if you can get that student's name. Okay.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay, thanks. Shoes, you want to make sure that your shoes are leather. They have to be puncture proof. So they can't be tennis shoes with mesh. We prefer that they be a solid color, white, brown, or black. They have to have a closed toe and heel. You know, when we're in the dental program, it's really important to have to be safe. And so any instrument could drop and it could fall down on your foot. And if your shoes aren't puncture proof, you could actually have an exposure incident with a contaminated instrument. So that's why we are asking you to wear protected shoes that are puncture proof. All right, next slide. Part of your uniform also includes a dental name tag. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about where you're going to input the information that you're going to have your name listed on your name badge. You're going to go to the homeroom and you're going to list out your first name and last initial, how you want it to be on your badge. And so we'll talk a little bit later about how to do that in the homeroom. But I want you to know that the cost of the badge is included in your supply issue that you're going to purchase at the bookstore. So there's no added additional cost. It's part of the cost of your supplies. It is included in that cost.
Peggy, before
Yes.
we move to Sandy, can I ask you a question on the shoes? I may have missed it. Are the shoes that they need to purchase, are those solely just for PCC, or can they be worn as regular street shoes as well?
So some of the newer regulations that we've had at PCC are to leave your shoes in your locker when you're here and then have street shoes to go outside. And so it's best to have shoes that you're planning on leaving for the in your locker and leaving for the clinic only. Is that what you're referring to, Josette? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you, Peggy.
Uh-huh.
Okay, dental x-rays. So we are asking that if you have recent x-rays, meaning 6 months or less, we're asking you that if you could please have them sent here to that email, the dental clinic at pcc.edu. And if you do not have recent x-rays, to please hold off on getting them at your dental offices, because the first term, we plan on having you guys take x-rays on each other.
Thank you, Sandy.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing this PowerPoint, and I'm going to take you guys online, and I'm going to show you what we refer to as the homeroom, which is on D2L, Desire to Learn. So let me go ahead and get that pulled up, and then we will talk about that. Okay, so some of you may have taken courses online through PCC or another school before. And if you have, you are going to be familiar with D2L or Desire to Learn, which is the platform that hosts all of our online courses. So when you go to D2L, this is the main homepage after you log in. Down here at the bottom, this section is going to list all your courses for each term. So when you click on each term, it shows you what courses you are taking or have taken during that term. And there's a tab here that is called Ongoing. And when you look at that tab, mine, because I'm an instructor, lists a bunch of different things. But when you click on that, you will see this tab here, or this link to the Dental Assisting Homeroom for the full-time class of 2022. And when you click on this, it's not a class, but it's actually what we're calling the homeroom. So it's where we are going to put a lot of information for you. There's going to be links. This is where we will post this recording. This is where we will post the PowerPoint that I discussed. We will post all of that stuff here. We will give you lists of all of your courses for each term. There's also a place to ask questions in here. So this is really kind of your home base for all the information you're going to need within the program. So I'm going to give you just a quick overview of it. There are things we still need to add to this page before you're able to access it, and some things we're going to update. But as a quick overview, You have your contacts here at the top of the page. So we have the director, Josette, our admin assistant, Susan Watson. Her email address and phone number is there. Our receptionist, Brian, as well as your 3 full-time faculty members are listed here. Down here in this section, there are no announcements yet, but we will be posting some. So anytime there's something going on within the program, we will post an announcement here. And if you want to, you can actually sign up to have notifications of these announcements go directly to your PCC email, which is also really nice. So you don't have to constantly be checking the site, but it's a good way for us to communicate with you is just through this announcements section. There is a Q&A forum here, and I'm going to go ahead and click on that and show you guys what comes up. Oh, I can I'll fix that link for you, but I can show it to you a different way if I go to discussions here. So under the discussion section, we have our Q&A forum at the bottom here, and then we have an introduction section at the top. So once you're able to get access to the homeroom, we'd love for you to come in here and post an introduction and let us know a little bit of stuff about you. And this is a place where you can come and learn about your classmates as well. And then the Q&A forum is a spot where you can come in and ask questions of your instructors or your classmates. So what you can do is any question about the program, you can come in here and then ask that question. So start a new thread, ask a question. You can ask questions anonymously in this forum. So nobody's going to know who it was if it's something you don't want. If you want to do it anonymously, that's fine. And then if you find that a classmate has posted something and you have information on that, you can always respond to them as well. But we, your instructors, will check those. If you have questions about a specific course, though, I would not post them in the homeroom. This is more for general questions about the program, or if you have questions about your rotations at different sites, things like that, this would be a great place to ask those questions. But anything that's specific to a class, I would either post that in your class page or ask that directly to your instructor. So that's what you can find in the discussion section. I'm going to take you to the content section here. And there's a lot of stuff that we have in the content section and that we're going to add. So you have some online student resources here. So this gives you information about different resources through PCC. We have a tab called Getting Started in the Dental Assisting Program. This is where you're going to be able to find the program manual, which you'll be responsible for reading. And then we have the program and certification costs listed. There are required agreements you're going to have to sign, which it's set up online here as a quiz. And so you'll go through this quiz. You're not graded on this quiz, but you'll go through it and you'll answer these 8 agreements and say that you're agreeing to them. There's a section here where you're going to put in your preferred name for that name badge. You're going to upload your registration for the American Dental Assistants Association. So once you've registered, you'll upload proof of registration to this folder, as well as proof of your immunizations. You'll upload them to this folder. Same thing with your CPR. It'll be uploaded to this folder. You will be required to do a statement of understanding for your criminal background check. Josette will discuss that a little bit with you later, but this is where you will upload that. And then there are some other resources here that we've put in. And again, this PowerPoint and video will also be included in this section. There are required program materials. So there are lists of your textbooks as well as what's going to come in your student issue. We have a link to dentalcare.com, which is a website you'll be using to take some online continuing education courses. So you'll have to register for that. There's a link to the American Dental Assistants Association where you'll register for your student membership. And then we also highly recommend that you register for something called MyEvolve. And that is the company or the publisher that makes your textbook, your main textbook. And they have a really, really good website that accompanies it. So we highly recommend that you register for and utilize that resource. We've got a tab on scholarship information with some links to different scholarship stuff. There's a section here called Important Forms. We don't need to really discuss that too much right now. That's if you have an incident where you need to report an incident, there's some forms there. And then there's a link here, and we may add some more links to this useful resources section. This is just to DANB, or the Dental Assisting National Board. That's the association that runs all of your exams and certifications that you'll need to take. And so that's a direct link to them. So we will be updating and adding things to this content section as we move along in the year. You can also access the quizzes and assignments section here through this activities tab. And that assignments section, that's going to show you a list of all those things that I kind of just talked about. So these are folders where you're going to upload information. So you'll upload your CPR certification, your proof of immunization. You'll upload all of these things into those different folders once that's available to you. And then the quizzes section, this is going to show you, this is the required agreements quiz. It's not really a quiz, remember, it's just a spot where we're going to have you actually complete these required agreements. And then there's also a health and safety quiz, which we'll discuss with you later. So I'm going to go back to the course homepage. And then, so with this homeroom, you do not currently have access to it. I need to get a list of, we just got a list of all your final names. And so I'm going to get that list to our online learning specialists, and they're going to actually add you to this homeroom. And then we're also going to get a few things updated before we give you access to it. We are anticipating having that hopefully ready for you by August 20th. But we will definitely send you an email as soon as it's available to you. So Josette's going to talk to you about some things that she's going to want you to do in the homeroom. Peggy's also going to talk to you about those things. So just know you don't have access to this yet. So you know, don't try to do it right away because you're not going to be able to get in. So we will email you and let you know once you have access to that.
Hey, Renee.
Yes.
Can you go through just really quickly how they actually get to the homeroom one more time?
Yes. So
like from the very beginning, like
yes.
even, yeah.
Okay. So if you've never been to PCC or PCC's online website before, or the D2L website, you're going to go to online.pcc.edu, and let me see if I can, let me log out. So I'm logged in. Let me log out. Okay, so I'm going to log out. So I'm going to go to online.pcc.edu, and then it brings me to this login page. And so I'm going to go ahead and log in here. And then that brings us to this main homepage. So now I'm logged in, and that's where I can see these tabs here. And so there's the different tabs for each term, which are going to show you your actual courses. So for you guys, you'll have a fall 2021 tab, just like I have here. And these are all the courses that I teach. So these courses are listed here. You guys will see all of the courses that you're going to be taking. So those will be listed here, and that's how you'll access those courses. And then for the homeroom, you're going to click on this tab that's called ongoing, because your homeroom is going to last with you the entire year. It's not just each term. So when you click there, then you'll see this full-time 2022 homeroom, and then you can click on that to get there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing the homeroom here, and I will go back to our PowerPoint. All right, and then we're going to hand it over to Josette to talk about immunizations. Is Josette there?
She's muted.
Oh.
Okay, here we go. You'd think after a year and a half of being on mute, I'd figure this out. Okay, so I hope y'all are doing okay. This is a lot of information that we're giving you right now. Take a deep breath and be ready for more, because here it comes. So you should have already received an immunization form when you got your alternate or your accepted letter. And I know there's always a lot of confusion about the immunization form. So let me give you some information. Give me a minute here to explain it. You will be uploading this form into the homeroom. I'd love for you to do it before September 27th, but the absolute last date for you to upload it is September 27th, which, if you remember, is the first day of school. I'd love for you to do it ahead of time once you get access to the homeroom, if you can. And so with the form, let me talk to you a little bit about this. This form, by you filling it out and you signing the bottom, is telling me that you are giving me honest and true information. I am not asking for, and I do not want pages and pages and pages of all of your medical vaccinations and your medical history and everything from your pediatric doctor. And, I don't want all that. I want you to go through that information, and I want you to write on here, here's the date that I had this, here's the dates that I had this. And then you're going to sign the bottom. And that tells me this is the correct information for you. So let's start at the beginning. The first thing on here is the tuberculin skin test. So that's a TB skin test. And this is needed once a year. So some of you might go, well, I had that back in 2019. You need to have it again. It needs to be current from, I would say, start like anytime now, because it needs to go with you and be current all the way through your program. OHSU is going to ask for it. Your externships offices will ask for it. So if you haven't gotten it yet, now is the time to go get it. Just save yourself some stress by doing it now, because I'm the one that's going to be coming after you and saying, you still haven't done this. And if you're in the middle of a term, it's just more stress for something that you need to do. So you will check with, sometimes pharmacies will give the skin tests. You can go to urgent care. You can try your county health department, whatever county you live in. Call your physician, your primary care doctor, and listen to what they're telling you. Sometimes they want you to do what's called a gold test, and other times they do just a little poke in the arm skin test. And then you go back, I think it's 48 hours later, and have it checked. Sometimes if you may come up with an automatic positive result. And if you do, then you'll need a chest x-ray to confirm that you don't have TB. So if you already know that you have had a chest x-ray and it shows clear, no TB, then you'll contact me and we'll talk about it. But otherwise, you're going to need to show a negative TB skin test that is going to be good for the whole year. If you, let's say you had it in March of 2021, then you can wait until March of 2022 to get another one. But you will be having to get another one while you're in the program, as long as it stays current for the whole school year. Let's talk about measles, mumps, and rubella. So you're going to write on here, what are the dates that you had your first shot and your second shot? Maybe some of you only had the first shot. Just write whatever your records say. Maybe some of you can't find your records. If you can't find your records and you have no way of knowing, then you go to the doctor and you say, can you please do blood test for the Rubella titer, T-I-T-E-R. So that next one under the MMR, the Rubella titer, you only have to do that if you don't know the dates of your MMR vaccines. But a blood test can tell you if you're immune. So you can always do the Rubella titer. Then the one underneath it is the hepatitis B vaccine. This is a 3-dose series. So when you get your first dose, and you should start that right away if you've not gotten a first dose of the hepatitis B vaccine. So get that right away. And then 1 month later, you'll go and you'll get your second dose. And then 5 months later, you'll get after the second dose, you'll get your third dose. So we recommend you go and do this right away if you haven't done it, because before you can be in clinic, we want you to have 2 doses. Okay, so please make sure you have at least 2 doses as you start school. And then you can get that third dose while you're in school. Let's say you can't remember the dates. You don't know if you're immune or not. You don't know if you had it. You've lost your records. You can't find your records. So then you can also ask the doctor to do a blood titer for hepatitis B, and it will come back telling you if you're immune or not. In that case, you would just write that you did a titer on this date, and if it was immune, if it showed you being immune. Some of you may have had your vaccination many, many, many years ago. And so they don't recommend, a booster all the time. What they recommend is that you go and you get your blood checked. And if your blood is showing that you're not immune anymore, then they may have you do a booster. Every single time, I had my first hepatitis B shot back in 1980. When I go and get my blood checked, I'm still immune. But that's not true for everyone. So if it's been many, many years for you, then I would say you could ask your doctor if they think they need to check for immunity for you. And if you do, that's called the titer. And you would write that in there if the results are that you're immune. And then follow your doctor's recommendations. Yes.
There's a couple of students asking, one, can they do the test after they come back on September 2nd? That's one. And the other one says, what if they don't get them done in time before they start?
So on the back of this form, you should have gotten a form that had 2 pages. If you are declining any vaccines because of medical or religious reasons, you need to sign the declination on the back of the form. If you just don't have time between now and September 27th to get these, then you won't be able to do clinical work until we can get you, with at least this 2 hepatitis B shots. So I would say, please, don't hesitate, don't procrastinate or wait on the hepatitis B vaccines, okay? And the reason why I say that is because dentistry, you are more at risk in an occupation like dentistry, where you are going to be exposed to patients' fluids and blood, and we treat everyone as if they have everything. So you're going to learn all about infection control and standard precautions, and we want you to be as safe as possible. And that's why the hepatitis B vaccine is so important. So I hope that answered that question. The chickenpox, we also want to know, when did you have the disease? Are you immune to the disease, or did you get the vaccination? Okay, so if you've never had the disease, then you need to write that down there. If you're already immune because you've had it, write it down there. Or if you had the vaccine, write that date down. We do always want you each to have a yearly flu shot, an annual flu shot. So if you had a flu shot 2 years ago, that's not going to be good anymore. You're going to want to get an annual flu shot. OHSU is going to ask me to verify that you've all had an annual flu shot. They're going to ask me to verify that you all had the hepatitis B vaccine and the tuberculin skin test. So it's not that we're asking all of these things of you just because we want to. It's because it's a law for any healthcare students or students in a healthcare profession and anyone working in a healthcare profession, that you have these type of vaccinations. And so I know you're probably wondering about the COVID vaccine. So right now, the governor is saying that healthcare workers and students in healthcare programs need to either show that they've been vaccinated against COVID, or that they have to get tested weekly and show annual weekly tests that they're negative for COVID. So this is all just, news that is very recent. PCC is going to be writing up their policies on this, but that is the direction we're heading right now. And so if you're declining to get the COVID vaccine, which everyone has the right to do what they feel is right for themselves, then you'll be signing a declination, and you'll be needing to show a negative COVID test weekly. Let's see, the last one on this list is tetanus, or a Tdap, which is the diphtheria and pertussis shot. This is very, very important, and it has to be within 10 years. So if I get something like, I had it in 1995, that's over 10 years. So please make sure and look at the date, because I'm going to look at the date. And when I look at it and it's over 10 years old, I'm going to say it's over 10 years old. Please go and get an updated one. And this is for your own protection. All of this is for your own protection, because you are going to be exposed to a lot of different things by working in the public so closely as you are.
All right, Josette. Is the blood test okay for the skin test?
If your doctor is recommending that you do I think it's called the gold test for the TB skin test, then you do what your doctor is recommending. Either way, they're going to tell you if you're TB positive or TB negative. So you do what your physician says for you.
And if they didn't get their flu shot before November 2020, because that's annually, so they have to have that, from November to November per se. Okay.
So I'm sorry, what was the question?
They just said, what if we didn't get the flu shot before November 2020?
Then if you didn't get it for last year, then we want you to get it for this year when they're available. I don't know if the flu shots are available yet, but once they become available, then we'll want you to get it, to have it for the year that you're in school. And sometimes we are able to arrange with the nursing students to give flu shots. So I'm going to write myself a note to check with the nursing director to see if that's a possibility. Okay. Are we ready to move on? I see on the question in the chat, can we have our doctors fax my record to you?
I was just going to say that, yeah.
Yeah, if you're going to do any kind of faxing of records, I would prefer that you send it to the dental clinic at pcc.edu. I can't remember, is it dental.clinic? I think it's just dental clinic at pcc.edu. It's on one of the other slides, because that's a secure email. And so any kind of health records like that, I'd rather you, if you're sending it from a doctor's office, I'd rather you do that. But there again, I don't want to go through 20 pages. I would prefer they send it to you and you fill out the immunization form.
Yeah, Gisette, I thought that's what I was thinking too. When you had mentioned the form, the students need to fill that out and then send that in. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I really don't want your doctor to be sending me all your stuff. I want you to fill this form out with the information that you get from the doctor. So you can ask the doctor to send you the information, and then you fill this form out. And there's a thing at the bottom, a line at the bottom for you to sign it, saying that this is accurate and truthful information.
Josette, I don't know if you want to answer this question now, but I'm getting it a few times, so I wanted to ask. They're asking, how do you know, will the alternate get selected later today on the orientation? And then they're asking if we are waitlisted, how do we know if we get the spot? So I don't know if you want to answer that now or wait till.
Okay, let's address the alternate questions at the end. We are going to have a question and answer time, and those are fabulous questions. And so let's get through the presentation, and then we'll get to the questions that are in the chat, and we'll get to you. Okay.
And just before we move on, I just want to let them know that the preferred method for getting this form to you is by uploading it to the folder in the homeroom, as opposed to emailing it, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, so I know I always have a lot of questions about CPR. And I know that during COVID, they're not having as many in-person classes. So this year we are accepting an online class. Here's what you need to do. You need to have a healthcare provider CPR. That means it has to have adult CPR, child and infant CPR. It has to have use of the AED. And so here's just an example. I'm not promoting this one, but here's an example of one that I just Googled, healthcare CPR. I Googled it the other day, and here was a link that came up. This would be a course that I would accept. And it looks like this offer expired August 8th, but I bet if you look again, there's another one that expires the next week. So just constantly look for the courses. They're pretty inexpensive. And again, once you get your certificate, I'd like you to upload it into the folder for CPR in the homeroom by September 27th. Most CPR classes for healthcare providers are valid for 2 years. So if you've already done a healthcare provider CPR and it's still valid, then you're good. If you did a first aid class and it had just a standard general population CPR, then that's not going to suffice. It needs to be a healthcare American Heart Association CPR that has child, infant, adult CPR and use of the AED. So Wendy, I see your question. Yours was 5 hours with the Red Cross. Take a look at it and see what it listed. I would think a 5-hour class probably would have child, infant, and adult CPR in it with use of the AED. So if it has that, then, and it's still valid again, it has to be valid the whole time you're in school. So it has to be valid all the way till, let's see, you start in the fall. So all the way through June of next year when you graduate, because OHSU again is going to ask me, your externships are going to ask me to verify that you have current CPR. And you need to have it for being in our clinic. If I see the question on mine expires in February. If it's current right now, then you're good. But before it expires in February, you'll need to renew it and bring me, get me your verification that you have a current CPR.
Okay, should we move on?
Looks like it. Looks like no more questions popping up on that. Okay, now we're going to talk about the background check and the drug screen. This again is something that is the law. In order to be in a healthcare training program where you're going to be working with different populations, we need to do a background check for you, and we need to do a drug screen. And so the company that we do this with is called Castle Branch. You can see that on where their website is, right on that slide. I have the cost on there as about $120. Typically, it's more in the 85-ish range, but if you have to retest for any reason, then it brings that cost up more. So plan on $120 and then be happy if you only have to pay the $82. You're going to go on Castle Branch's website and you're going to create your own account. So if you call me and say, how do I do this? I'm going to say, go on Castle Branch's website and create an account. If you have any questions about creating your account, then look at the bottom of the slide and there's the customer service number that you're going to call. Because if you email me and say, I can't figure out how to do an account, I'm going to refer you to this phone number. So we're really trying to get, to provide you with the information and not waste your time with, by contacting me or contacting someone else. We're trying to get you to the right place by providing this information because they're the ones that are going to help you with this. You have to list a package code in order for you to be assigned to PCC's dental assisting program and sign up for what we want you to have and for me to get your records when they come back, your results. So your code is capital P, capital J, that's a 0. So PJ01, lowercase bgdt. Okay, background drug test. Again, any questions about ordering this, call Castle Branch's customer service. Now I'm going to give you some hints here. If you, what they do for the drug screen is that you pay for the drug screen and then they send you a list of places where you can go and get the drug screen done. And you make an appointment with that company off of their list. And then once you do the drug screen, then the results go to Castle Branch. So if you go into the drug screen and your results come back dilute, that means that you drank tons and tons and tons of water before the drug screen. And a dilute result is non-conclusive for anything. So you have to pay and have it retested. So I'm just letting you know that if you are one that drinks gallons of water, maybe don't drink so much water before you go in for that drug screen. The other thing is, if you test positive for marijuana, even though it's legal here in Oregon, we have to follow the national guidelines, and the national drug screens do not allow for marijuana positive tests. So if you test positive for it, then you're going to have to pay and retest. So I need to have a clear drug screen from you for entering the program, and I need to have a clear background check. So these are things that you can do now. You can go and start doing this now because I track everything. And if I don't see it from you, it could hold you up. I had a student this year who got held up from being able to go to OHSU because just kept not completing something. And so we just don't want that to happen to you. Try to get as much done before the program starts.
Josette,
Mm-hmm.
how long does it take for the test results to come back?
Not long, a couple weeks, at the most. I mean, I don't always know what day you guys register for it. And so, I mean, I just go in like every week and I check and see whose results have come in. But that would be a good question for you to go ahead and ask Castle Branch. You can probably either email that question to them or phone them. And maybe it says it on the website and I just don't know.
And then do we test them just once at the beginning of the year, or do we do it throughout the year?
You do it once during the year unless we have cause for asking you to do the drug screen again.
Josette, I do believe that some of the extern sites will have the students do a drug screen background check in the spring before they go. Is that correct? For certain corporate type of
It
dental
just
institutions?
depends.
Okay.
Willamette Dental and Kaiser may ask you to do a drug screen and background check for them. And here's the deal with these. Even let's say that you are a childcare provider right now, and you tell me, well, I've worked in this daycare and I've already done one. And I'm going to say, I'm sorry, you need to do it again because we need to have our own. So sometimes like OHSU will let me attest to your background check and your drug screen. But if you're placed in a large organization like Willamette and Kaiser, they may ask you to do it again for them. Thanks, Peggy, for bringing that up.
So I'm out of the country. I won't be back until September 2nd, so I can't do any tests before that. Is it okay if I do it and it takes time to get the result? Is it okay, or what should I do?
Well, I don't know if you can at least get the background check going because that's an online thing. I don't know if you can at least register for the drug screen and then do the actual test when you get back on September 2nd, because it takes some time for you to get an appointment. So I would say if you can at least set your account up and do what you can while you're out of the country. And then when you come back in to the country, maybe you'll even be able to set up an appointment for when you get back to have the drug screen.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I have a question. Is this a background check / drug test?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Is this a background check / drug test? And do we call to make an appointment? Do we go to the website?
So what you're going to do is you're going to go on this website and you're going to make an account. They'll ask you for some information. You're going to put this code in. They'll ask you for information and they'll do the background check through online.
Okay.
But they're going to send you a list of places where you go for the drug screen.
Okay.
Okay?
And I pay online, or?
They'll send you a list of the places that are in your area. You'll pick a place that's close to where you live, and you have to go to that place to do the drug screen. And then they send the results back to Castle Branch.
Okay, so do I pay in person or do I pay over the online?
The drug screen you have to go in person to do, and the background check you do online. But you pay for both of those online.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, good.
Okay.
You guys are doing great. Lots of information.
Shows that the expected graduation date is that's June 2022, right?
Yes,
Thank you.
it's usually about well, let's see. I can probably find out. Hold on. June 22. Well, that's funny. It's probably going to be around the 17th. June, around, don't quote me on that, but around June 17th.
Okay, should we move on from the background check? Let's see what's next.
One of the documents that I'm going to have you read and sign and upload into the homeroom is called the Statement of Understanding. And what this is it's letting you know that because you're in a healthcare program, that you need to have a background check and a drug screen done. It tells you everything about it, and you're signing it saying, I understand that I need to do this because of the program that I'm in. So this will be one of the things that you will sign and upload into the homeroom. So when I send you your course registration numbers, the CRNs, when I send those to you, then I'm also going to send you this document, the statement or memo of understanding. Ooh, we're going to change gears here a little bit. Let's tell you a little bit about where you're going to be taking your classes. So we have had our first year in our new building. We're downtown, right across the street from Portland State's Urban Center. So I don't know if you are familiar with where Portland State is, where that big brick plaza is. And we're just right across the street from it on 5th and Montgomery. The building is called the Vanport Building, and we own the whole floor. The building is owned by Portland State. They have 2 floors. OHSU has 2 floors. We have 1 floor, and then the city of Portland has 1 or 2 floors. So it's owned by 4 different entities. And we have the 3rd floor. The whole 3rd floor is PCC Dental. And so if you're familiar with that site, it's right on the transit lines for TriMet bus, for the streetcar, for Max. I mean, you can't get any more close or efficient in being able to use mass transit than the location that we're at. And so as far as parking goes, there's on-street parking, super, super expensive if you were going to park for 8 hours a day. There is parking at PSU, also pretty expensive. But you can, as a PCC student at Vanport, you can get a parking pass at PSU. You have to pay for it, a monthly pass, and I don't have the amount of that. Usually PCC has a shuttle coming from Sylvania campus, and I'm hoping they'll start that up in winter. They're not going to have it available for fall. But that is one economic way. You can purchase a $50 a term parking pass to go to Sylvania, leave your car there, take the shuttle. It takes 15 minutes from Sylvania. It drops you off here at PSU, and then it takes you back, and it runs like every half an hour, every 45 minutes. So I'm sorry to say that that is not an option for you this fall, but I'm hoping they'll bring it back in the winter if we can get these COVID numbers down. There's also a CVS parking garage near here. It's just on 4th Avenue, and that parking garage is $10 a day. So that's a little bit more economical than if you were to pay for on-street parking, or might even be more economical than PSU's. Not sure about that. But your best bet is going to be getting either a TriMet hop pass, where you can do Max or TriMet or the streetcar, or carpooling with somebody and sharing the cost. The other option is, if you do purchase a PCC parking pass, you can go to the Climb Center. The Climb Center is down by OMSI. You can park at PCC's Climb Center. Then you have to walk a couple blocks, get on the streetcar or streetcar or Max, and take it on over the Tillicum Bridge, and it'll come right in front of the building. So that's another option. So several different things that you can do. In this floor diagram that you're looking at in the building, that nice, beautiful curve, we're on the 3rd floor, and the curve is where your student lounge is. I think they gave you the most beautiful part of the building. It's just got a really nice open area. There's back in the back, the green square there is where you'll be in dental materials lab with Renee. The bluish next to it is our simulation lab. If you go clear on the other side, the other light blue is the dental assisting clinic. And then the red in the center is our radiology lab. So we're happy to welcome you here soon in the fall so we can give you an actual tour of the building.
All right, Peggy.
All right, so just a few things to remember. This is a good check off slide, this one and the next one. These are the things that you're going to want to do once you have access to the D2L homeroom shell. In that shell, you're going to want to review the program manual and then also review the certification costs. When you pay for your tuition for your courses and you buy your textbooks and you purchase your supply kit, none of that is included. The certificate, your test costs are not included in your tuition. And a lot of students kind of get midterm of the program and go, oh my goodness, I didn't realize I was going to have to pay extra for my own certifications and my own tests. And yes, that's not part of your tuition. So make sure you're reviewing the cost page in D2L and you're really familiar with what you're going to have to pay for during the course of your time here. You're going to want to also go into how to get started, the content module that says how to get started in D2L, and complete the following items. Your agreements that Renee talked to you about earlier that are set up like quizzes. You're going to want to put your name in for your name badge. You're going to want to register for the American Dental Assisting Association. You want to complete your introduction post about yourself. You want to upload all your proof of immunizations and all those documents for Josette. You want to upload your CPR certificate. And then you want to upload your statement of understanding regarding your criminal background and drug test. Go ahead to the next slide, Renee.
Peggy, can I interrupt just for a second?
Oh, sure.
I'm sorry.
No worries.
This just kind of jogged my mind as Peggy was talking. You are entering what we consider a full-time program. And it is very difficult to work while you are in this full-time program because there's a lot that we expect of you, lots of study, lots of skill practice. So I just want you to be aware that if you're thinking, well, I'll still keep my 40-hour-a-week job, that's just not going to be helpful for you. It's going to be very difficult for you. So please make sure that you look at that cost sheet, the estimated cost sheet, and you have a plan for how to pay for college, because unfortunately, it's very sad when we lose a student because they don't have the finances to continue. So in your best interest, I just really encourage you to make sure that you feel you're going to be able to have the finances to complete the program and that you'll be able to do it in a way where you can devote your time, energy, everything that you need to the program. So I just want to caution you on that.
Thank you, Josette. That's really important because it is a pretty strenuous program and we want to make sure that you're able to do it and also be able to afford to not have to work as much. Some of the program requirements as far as materials, you're going to want to review what the textbooks are, what you're supposed to purchase for supplies. You're also going to want to complete in the homeroom the dentalcare.com registration, because there's going to be assignments during your time with us through that website. And so you want to be able to log in and be already registered. These are all just kind of busy things to do before the term starts. And so the more that you can get done and completed, the better off you're going to be. You want to make sure that you complete your ADAA membership. and also the recommended My Evolve Elsevier registration, because in that website, like Renee had mentioned earlier, there's a lot of really great tools in there to help you learn more and be successful. You also want to review the scholarship information, the PCC Foundation, and then the American Dental Association Foundation. So again, all of these things are going to be in the homeroom. You're probably not going to have access to the homeroom until we're able to find out who's actually in the program, and then we'll give that information to our online specialists to get you listed to have access. And that'll be as soon as we can. So stay tuned for that. Anything else to add to that, Renee?
I don't think so. Yeah, I would just say, you know, we know you guys are all really excited and we want you to get started on all this stuff, but we will be in contact with you when things are available. So if you're, you know, going on to D2L and you're trying to access the homeroom, if we haven't emailed you yet, then it's not available. So again, we are going to try our best to get that done by the 20th. That is our goal. We might have it done sooner, but just wait until you hear from us with further instructions on that, because we will get it to you.
All right. All right. So who do you contact? Gosh darn, if you have a question before you have access to that question and answer section in the homeroom. If you have questions about your enrollment to the program, you can always email Josette. If you have questions about registration, you can email Susan Buckley Watson. If you have questions about textbooks and supplies, you can always call the bookstore or email one of the instructors. If you have questions about specific courses, you would want to call or email the instructor for that specific course. So you'll be getting all of that information again in the homeroom. All right, so some advice that has been given to you from previous students is to not be afraid, get out of your comfort zone. That was from Christina. She was the class of 2014. And Erica in 2019 said it might not seem like it in the beginning, but you will eventually connect all the dots. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Remember that your ultimate goal is to make a difference in your patients' lives. And Megan, class of 2014, said, read the material seriously. Everything in these books is what's on the tests in school and for your DANB exams as well. I would also say make a Facebook page like we did. It helps so much with assignments and due dates, questions, and days off. That particular student was kind of an organized kind of like gal, and she organized a Facebook page for her color group, and they kept each other accountable, helped each other with due dates and all that kind of stuff. So you can always do something like that once you become a student here. And then Ashna, class of 2019, said you really will use all of your knowledge from this program in your dental assisting career. Don't just do the bare minimum. She was encouraging you to really get in and learn a lot. And then Gabby, class of 2015, said, stay together. At the end of it, it's so amazing knowing you have someone else to share a dream you've accomplished. Help each other out and be there for one another. And you guys are going to make some amazing friends and relationships during this program.
Yes, you will. I'm still in touch with my dental assisting classmates. Okay, so what's next? Well, please, if you're going to carpool with somebody that you already know, please get me that information by Friday at noon, because I want to send you out your CRNs, your course registration numbers. You can do your background check and drug screen now. We talked about that. You already know you're going to register when you get the CRNs. You know about the homeroom and uploading the immunization, CPR, memo of understanding. And then here's something that we haven't talked about. One of the qualities that I think makes a dental assistant a superb dental assistant is being able to anticipate what someone else is going to be needing. So when you're working with the dentist or someone else in the office, you're constantly going to be asked to anticipate not be asked by them, but in your mind, anticipate what is the next thing they need and always have it ready. So in order to make that office run efficiently, you don't want the dentist to have to wait and ask you to give them something. You want to anticipate it. So between now and when school starts, I encourage you to maybe get with someone that you know and maybe cook a dinner together or help fix a car or put something together, maybe put some bookshelves together. Do something together where you have to anticipate what is the next thing that person's going to need. Because it's very hard to teach anticipation and being ready to assist someone. So if you maybe kind of get some of that and be thinking about it purposefully before you come to school, maybe that will help you as you first start getting into your clinical skill working with the dentist. And then, of course, enjoy the rest of the summer. We want you to just
I have a question. To upload my immunization history and to do a background check and do the understanding of the thing, do you have access to it now?
That's going to be in the homeroom that you don't have access to right now.
Okay.
So remember, Renee or one of the other instructors is going to email you, letting you know, okay, now the homeroom is ready for you. My question though, Renee, is I believe they probably would have to be registered first in their class in order to access it.
To access the homeroom?
Yeah.
I have to, because I just got the list of the students, I have to take that list and get some additional information from you. And then I have to send that to our online learning people so they can get everyone added. And then we just want to make sure that everything has been updated in the homeroom, so there's no incorrect information, and then we will share that. So yes, they need to be added.
But are they able to access it without being registered yet?
Yes,
Okay.
we are
Okay.
manually adding them.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Hey, Josette, do you know if the Vanport building has a quiet area for prayer or meditation?
Thank you for that question. Yes, we do. And we do have students using it. So yes, so anybody who would like to know about that, just come and see me and I'll show you exactly where that room is. Okay, let's remember that we have one more orientation with you. And it also is a mandatory orientation because what we're going to do at that orientation is we're going to do a safety training. We're going to do a tour of the building. You're going to learn some different codes for when you access the building. There's a lot of information that we're going to give you at this second orientation. And it is on Friday, September 17th from 9 to noon. It will be here in person at the building. And like I said, lots of training. You're going to be what we call fit tested for an N95 mask that you'll wear during dental procedures. So it's a very, very important date for you to be able to come. So put that down on your calendar, 9 to noon, Friday, September 17th.
Josette, is this the orientation you're talking about, the September 17th? Do you want even the alternates to come to that?
By then, the alternates will all be informed. And so I know the next slide is going to question and answer. So let's just go ahead and address the alternate situation. I have already been able to accept 10 alternates. And so those alternates received an email from me yesterday. So congratulations to those alternates that are now formally accepted into the class. The rest of the alternates, after today's orientation, I will be looking at the attendance list, and anyone who had been accepted but did not show up for the orientation will open up a spot for another alternate. So just keep looking in your emails over the next few weeks, because even sometimes we have people who sent in their intent saying, yes, I want to be in the program. And then life happens, something happens, and they're unable to attend the program. And so that will open up a spot for another alternate. So all the way up to that first day of school, be checking your emails, because it just could be that I'll be emailing you saying, you know, we have a spot for you if you can attend. So I wouldn't change your major life plans until after fall term starts, because like I said, all the way up to the first day of school, you could get that phone call from me or that email from me.
I have another question. For the DTL classes, are we going to know the time and the date, or we have DTL every day?
You will be given a schedule of your classes. You will be on campus 3 days a week for in-person labs, which go from 9 to 4. So you'll be responsible for being there 3 days a week, 9 to 4. And then you have lecture courses. If I'm remembering correctly, you have 4 lecture courses. Some of them are 1 hour, some of them are 2, and those are all via Zoom. So there's a scheduled time, and we'll be giving you that schedule shortly. It's not gonna get out today, but we're gonna be giving you that schedule very soon.
Okay.
And I would just add that the 3 days a week that you'll be here in person for your labs will be, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Is that right, Peggy?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So plan on all day Tuesday, all day Wednesday, all day Friday.
What time did you say for in person? I'm so sorry.
9 to 4.
So we'll talk a lot more in detail when it gets closer to the time, but 9 to 4 doesn't mean arriving at 9. And we're going to give you a lot more details as time comes up. So don't worry about that yet today. Just know that you're going to be on campus on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Fridays next term.
And you will have some lecture classes on Monday and Thursday. So we will be sending you your actual schedule here very soon, once we have divided you into the color groups and can send you your CRNs to register. So even though it sounds like, oh, well, I don't have anything on Monday and Thursday, you will be required to be in some Zoom classes.
Okay, so we don't have to be vaccinated for vaccine, right?
So if, are you talking about which vaccine?
COVID, we don't have to get vaccinated, right?
Okay, so with the COVID vaccine, you're either going to have to be vaccinated or you're going to have to sign a letter of declining for medical or religious reasons. And you're going to have to test every week to show that you have a negative COVID test. If you're vaccinated, you don't have to sign the declination and you don't have to do the weekly test.
Hello? Are
Yes?
we allowed to, okay. I don't know if this question was already answered, but did you already go over like the alternate spots or anything?
Okay, so the alternates, I have already accepted 10 alternates. And I am recommending to anybody who had a number 11 through 25, I believe it was, to keep checking your emails, because you might get an email from me all the way up to September 27th saying that you've been accepted.
Okay.
It's not uncommon for people to have to not do the program as they originally thought. So, and I will tell you that for those of you who are alternates this year, and if you don't get into the program this year, I will automatically accept you into the program next year. So you'll automatically be accepted next year.
Will the alternate students be accepted into the spring term automatically as well, the part-time term? Or the part-time
No,
program?
no, I can't do that. But you can apply to the part-time program if you are thinking that, you know, since you didn't get into the full-time program, if you want to be in the part-time program, then you can apply for that program. And you can put on your application that you were an alternate for the full-time program.
Thank you.
Wait, so if someone will not do the program this year, if they apply next year, they'll automatically be in the program again?
Let's see. If someone, can you say it one more time, please?
If somebody got accepted this year and they weren't able to do it due to health reasons, and next year they applied, will they automatically get it?
Okay, so if you're talking about an alternate, if you don't get into the program this year, then I will automatically accept you for next year.
What if you're getting, but you couldn't do it?
If you were already accepted for the program and you find out you can't do it, maybe you don't have the money, whatever the reason is, then I will defer your acceptance to next year.
And next year, if I apply to the program, I can get it, right?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that.
So next year, that means I would get it if I was to apply again.
Yes, what I do is I have you still submit an application so that I know that you're interested.
Okay.
And we'll keep a list of your names, and we'll know that you're automatically accepted. All she'll have to do is submit a new application so we know you really are truly still interested.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Josette, is there kind of a cutoff point for the alternates to kind of know if they're going to get in or not, or could it be the day before classes start?
It could be the day before classes start. I mean, I don't know. You know, every year is different.
And people can change their mind about being in the program last minute. So it's really nice if you're still really interested to make sure you're checking your emails, like Josette said, because you may have a spot open up and you would be the one. And students, please don't forget to put your first name and your last initial at least on your name for this session so that we can tell who's here or not. I see there's some numbers or names or letters here that I can't read. So make sure your name is very audible or clear.
Can you tell them again how to do that, Peggy?
Yeah, actually, Renee, I'm going to have you do that.
So I can't see it in front of me right here, but so, okay, if you go to the, on your Zoom screen right now, if your name is not listed, you want to go to participants, click on the button that says participants, and it's got like little people on it. And then you want to go to yourself, find yourself in there, and then hover over your name, or if it's not your name, find yourself and hover over it. You should be at the top, I believe. And then if you click on the button that says more, it gives you the option to rename. And so we want you to make sure that on Zoom right now, you have your first name and your last initial at least, so that we know that you're here and we can take roll and you can get credit for being here. So click on participants and then find you, which you should be at the top of the list. Click more and then rename.
And it looks like most everybody has done that. So that's super good. Oh, good.
I did see a question, and the question was something about the vaccination, being able to decline the vaccine. So if you're going to decline the vaccine, I'm not going to ask you your personal reason why you're declining the vaccine. You're just going to do that on the whatever form or whatever process that PCC has you do. You'll just decline, but you're going to have to acknowledge that you know that you'll have to do a weekly COVID test. And I don't know what PCC's process is going to be for that yet. Did another question come in? I thought there was one more question.
So I have question. So for the alternate, like 11 ranking 11 to 30 something, if you say like we can accept later, should we like start to do the background check or the immunization before the program starts?
Thank you for that question. That is an excellent question, and I'm glad you brought it up. Please, if you are an alternate, do not do the background check or the drug screen. Don't do any of those kind of things until you know you've been accepted. So please don't, your name, you won't be on the homeroom to upload anything until you've been accepted. I don't want you to put the money out for the background check and the drug screen in case you don't get accepted this year, because you have to do it again next year. So please wait on any of that. I would say possibly maybe the one thing that you could do is you could start getting your immunization, titers or whatever, filling out that form. Because you will eventually need to get that information to us if you're planning on coming the following year. And the other thing you could do is for your own interest, if you want to take the CPR class, but I wouldn't recommend doing the background check or the drug screen yet.
Josette, one of the students asked how they show that they have the COVID vaccine. Are they supposed to upload their immunization card because it's not listed on your form?
Right, it's not, because it's just something very recent that has been coming up. The college is just now in discussion. They'll be meeting on Friday to talk about how they want to move forward with this. So please, you're gonna have to stay tuned. Wait a little bit for me to give you the official, this is how PCC wants you to do it. So for right now, just do the immunizations that are on that form.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So like we just do that and just wait until like we got accepted, right?
When you say just do that.
Just do the immunization?
Right, I wouldn't go and spend a lot of money though, until you know that if you already have the records and you can start filling the form out, then I would recommend that, but I wouldn't go and do a lot of blood tests and things like that until you know that you've gotten accepted, unless you want that for your own information.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I just want to say we are at 2:57 and we said that orientation would be concluding at 3. So I just want to be respectful of everyone's time. I just want to let everyone know that I'm going to save the chat, and I'm going to be taking that and taking all the questions and compiling a Q&A. So if something got missed, it will be in there. Plus, I will put all of the answers in that for all the questions, just so that you can go back and reference it in case you missed something. So I will do that for everyone. And then, like I said, this is recorded. We're going to be posting this recording on the homepage as well as the PowerPoint. So we will get that once we know for sure who is in the program. We will get the homeroom going and we will get you that information. So look for an email from us with that coming hopefully very soon. Is there anything, Josette, Peggy, Sandy, that we need to add?
Well, I just saw a quick question about the name badge. And the name that you like to use, that you want to be called, is the name that you will put on your badge. So it doesn't have to be your legal name. If for instance, my name is Peggy, but if I went by Peg, I would put Peg on my name badge. So it's the name that you want to be called, that you want to list for your name badge, plus your last initial.
I can tell you guys are going to be a great group. Excited to have you here.
Just to let you know that over here is 1 a.m.
Oh my God.
Where are you?
In Iraq,
Oh
Kurdistan.
my God. You really get, you know, we have to give you a smiley face sticker for really.
Yeah, she's dedicated.
I'm super
Go to
tired.
sleep now.
Oh my goodness.
It might be our first international orientation. Apparently.
Well, I will be back on September 2nd.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Enjoy your time.
Thank you.
All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and stop recording. And so we can conclude this orientation. And again, I'll be sending out the Q&A list of questions and answers for everyone. And we will get you guys more information soon. So hang tight, and we are excited to have you guys here. So have a good rest of your afternoon.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.